unfortunately, today I was laid off. How much you think you are worth?
100K.
And you are asking for less?
I've just been sold.
2,000 people applied for this job. I'm like, oh my God, I'm just one of 2,000. So out of 10 people, only 2 were left.
The girl who I've met at the beach, it's just like driving a tank.
That's what happened to me.
Get laid off as the QA automation engineer. Get a job offer 3 weeks after. Stop by in Santa Monica during my workout and say, hey Sergi, I just wanted to say thank you for sharing your YouTube videos publicly because 3 weeks after I got laid off, I was watching your videos and I was able to land the job offer very quickly. Thanks to your advices, plus I got much more money than I was asking for originally. Well, this is not me randomly coming up with the shit. This is a story of Anna, the Ukrainian girl who I have randomly met in Santa Monica during the workout, Saturday mornings, 7 a.m. And she just stopped by and say thank you. She said, thank you for sharing your amazing videos. I've learned a lot and I was able to land the job. I'm not here to take a credit of her getting a job offer based on the free videos you guys are watching, but I'm here to share her story, her success story, and to show you how you can really use free knowledge that you're getting from our YouTube channel and from any of the YouTube channels. You can learn quite a lot and you can make much more money if you are watching the right videos and if you are learning a lot of useful information. Well, let me stop right here and interview Anna so you would hear exact questions answers to which she learned from us. Let me ask her, how did she pass an interview and how the hell did she get laid off? Anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. If you are enjoying it so far, don't forget to hit that big fat thumb up button below. Also, subscribe to our channel and subscribe to our Instagram and Telegram communities. Let's get started. Hey Anna, and welcome to our podcast.
Hey everyone. Hey Sergey.
All right, it's a time for me to introduce Anna, the girl who I've met at the beach. She just went, you know what? Actually, let's have her introduce herself first, and then she will tell a story how we met at the beach.
That's right. Hi everyone. My name is Anna. I'll be introducing myself like I do in professional interviews, right? So I'm QA automation engineer. And that's right, I met Sergi on the beach. I met you on the beach during our Ukrainian workout session. So we have a big community here, and every Saturday
Where?
At 7 a.m. we're in LA.
There we go.
Yeah, I forget that people from different countries are watching this video. So yeah, we have Ukrainian workout sessions every Saturday at 7 a.m. In Santa Monica Beach. So I met Sergi there, and I wanted to thank him for his videos on YouTube that helped me a lot in my job search, and we are coming there. So we'll speak more about that.
Awesome. We'll talk more about it.
Right.
Great. In this case, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself? Where are you from? Except your T-shirt that clearly tells us that you're Ukrainian.
That's right.
Mine as well.
So, yeah, I'm originally from Ukraine. I've been living in the United States for over 7 years now, and I'm a QA automation engineer. So I've been working with automation for 4.5 years now.
Nice.
Of course, I started from manual like everybody
That's
else.
cool. That's cool. Not like everybody.
But
I can tell you that.
There are some exceptions to the rule. Yep, that's what happened to me. That's
Sure.
why.
I think like 50% of our students are starting with the QA automation first.
Really?
Yeah.
That's probably the latest trend, because back in my day it was not like that. It kind of like upgraded.
I think since the beginning it was like that, because first student of mine, he went for QA automation position, and the second one, Georgie, I think he got the job and he was already doing automation as well. So he was both manual and automation.
But, now now in my company, in my new company, I have manual QA whom I was asked to teach automation so she can catch up. I'm creating a framework and I'm teaching her so she can catch up, and now we move to another project. And I will tell you, in my previous company, we didn't have manuals at all. We were all automation. I did partly manual a little bit, and now I understand. So it's a different approach to testing at all. It's so hard for me to explain to her the approach, so you just think differently. Differently. Yep. It's like the opposite. That's why it doesn't surprise me that some people just start with automation. Now I understand it. So yeah.
Yep, yep. Awesome. In this case, so you are Anna from Ukraine. You were living in Los Angeles. You got
That's
four
right.
years of experience in QA, manual, and automation. What technologies have you used throughout your life? Automation
So
technologies.
my big mistake, as I see it right now, I started learning automation and, in fact, working my first project was Selenium on Java. So the
Hmm.
mistake is Java, obviously. The mistake is
Java
Java.
lovers, tell,
Right.
tell tell us in the comments
Yep. So
if
there
it's a
is
mistake or not.
right. So there is nothing wrong with Java. It's a beautiful, amazing, complex, heavy language, but it's a little bit too complex and too heavy for QA automation. So it's better to use something easier, more convenient, and more flexible, something like
Hmm.
JavaScript. So life guided me the right direction, in fact. So I was applying for my job, for my first real job. I was on a contract with a little project with Java and Selenium, and then I was applying for a full-time job, and I was hired by a company that was using Puppeteer on JavaScript.
Hmm.
And I'm like, guys, I'm on Java. They said, you will pick it up. It will be fine. And years later, looking back,
Hmm.
I realized how fortunate I was that I was hired by this company, that I switched to JavaScript. So
Yeah.
how much easier my life became with this language. And I'm thinking, why would I ever pick Java for automation from the beginning? But I didn't know any better. So I was sticking to one bootcamp, and that's what they used.
Hmm.
So I didn't know any better, right? And back in the day when I started learning automation, I didn't know about your school.
Hmm.
So probably it was not on the market yet, or maybe
Which year was it?
2017 or 18. 18, my guess.
Probably like three friends of mine have heard of my
Right. And
school,
I was not your friend back then. So unfortunately,
unfortunately.
right. So yeah, so I picked another boot camp. And yeah, it was Java. Was not worth it, honestly.
All right, guys. Now it's your turn. Tell us, is it worth it? Tell us if you are enjoying writing Java on Selenium or whichever language. Just, in my opinion, writing test automation in Java is just like driving a tank to get groceries from the store. There is no
Mhm.
reason to do so because there are lighter vehicles, there are electric cars, there are regular gas cars.
Cards.
Just there are cars. Yeah, exactly. There are cars. There are bicycles. You can grab down and just ride it for a couple of minutes. You don't have to ride a tank to the grocery store. So Java is a very heavy language. It's a language that is used to program microwaves. Pretty much all of the appliances. I would say
Yeah.
that's the real use of it. But you could also build a website. You could build a test automation
Yeah, the backend
frameworks.
part, right? Yep,
But you can use something much lighter: Python, JavaScript. Let me
exactly.
know what you think.
Exactly. And I would tell you that I'm like fresh out of the job market, and the absolute majority of the positions are open for JavaScript in QA,
Cheers.
right? So part of them are still. I think I saw just a couple of them on Java, so they
Hmm.
look for Java.
Got it.
Yep.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Well, so 4 years experience. Do you prefer
Hmm.
JavaScript? So we've met at the beach, and you stopped by. Can you describe it? And
That's right.
can you tell us why do people gather in Santa Monica Saturday 7 a.m.?
7 a.m. Right,
Why in the world they would wake up so early?
to work out, obviously. So we go there to get together and work out, and then after that we have our little networking session. We go to some coffee shop and we talk to each other. We share each other's experiences and professional skills and whatnot. So there was an initiative when we created a big spreadsheet where everybody puts the information about the business we're doing, so we can be helpful to each other.
Oh, seriously, I didn't see that one
Right. It was pinned
in the channel.
earlier. Right, right. So
I'll
people
check
were
it
like,
out.
oh my God, you are like a barber. I was looking for a barber. So yeah, we want to help each other and use each other's services. Besides, like everything that is done by Ukrainians is done perfectly nicely and in the highest quality. So that's another thing about it. And I attended one of your big events.
Mhm.
remind me.
Ukrainian speaking IT conference in
Right.
Los Angeles.
It was a big event. It was a big success. And back in the day, when that convention took place, I was actually not looking for a job.
Mhm.
I was in there to support Ukrainian community, to see and talk to Ukrainian software engineers and my peers, like QA people, just for that.
Mhm.
But I would suggest that even if you are guys not in the market, you still go and attend those events online. On site is much better, of course, because that's how you keep yourself up to date. And I will tell my story later. I was laid off, so if something like that happens to you, and it can happen to anyone, you will be ready. Not like me, because I was my resume was way behind and everything else. So during that convention, there were several speakers, and I liked it a lot. So I got a lot of useful links, a lot of useful information. So and I met you there for the first time. So I knew who Sergey was, so I knew what he was doing. And when time came and I needed to go on the job market, I already knew what to search for, like behavioral part and some technical aspects. I would recommend your videos on YouTube, because they are short enough and very up to the point, so very, very useful to hear how people answer the questions that might seem obvious, but they actually might create problem for you in the interview. Just don't neglect those behavioral parts.
I'm going to attach a link right there to our couple of our interviews. Well,
like mock interviews, right?
I could call them mock. I would probably call them interview discussions, because we get 3 experienced people in the QA world, and we answer interview questions for the manual QA and QA automation positions, and we discuss them and share our opinions. What would be the better, if there is a better way to answer the question, and how would I answer the question?
And like people are bringing in their expertise. So those people, they all were to those interviews. They made mistakes, they did good, and they share their experience. So, here is where I could have done better, and here is I did that, and they liked it, and they hired me, something like that. It's very, very useful, very, very good to know before you go.
Yep. All right, let's roll back. So we have a list of people that share our businesses, and then we go to cafes after the workouts.
Right. So I decided to stop by and thank Sergey for his videos that helped me a lot. And in fact, I used one of the tricks, I would say, that he shared in one of his videos, and I believe it helped me a lot.
Interesting. Tell us about the tricks you learned from the videos.
I will. So I knew, again, from Ukrainian meetups, professional meetups, that like the interviewers tend to ask more or less the same pool of questions. It's just a big pool, right?
Yeah.
And some of those questions that they like most are like, can you please tell us about the conflict situation in your team and how you resolved it? And I'm like sitting there and I'm trying to think, what if they asked me? What would I say? And I'm thinking, oh my God, I really never had any conflict situation in my team. Probably because I was the only QA on the team. Maybe because I had an excellent, perfect team, but for some reason. And I'm like, but if they ask me, they expect to hear something because they want to see your personality, how you resolve conflicts. And if you say, no, I didn't have it. So it's kind of doesn't sound right to me. And I'm like, oh my God, should I like make up a conflict or something? And that was my problem. And you, in one of your like mock interviews or something, you read the question and your QA people, like who were interviewed by you, they gave their options, like what would they say? And then you say something like, well, I never had it in my experience, but if I would say something like this, or I would do something like this. And I'm like, that's a perfect like workaround, right? So if you don't know what to say, if you didn't have something like they ask in your experience, don't make up, don't tell lies, because it's obvious. Like when, it's very, very obvious, and it's like kind of very awkward. You don't want to do that. You just imagine if you had, like, if I had a conflict, I would do this. I would go there. I would talk to that person. I would try this and that. Same thing with technical parts, in fact. Same template. So they ask you something and you didn't have it, right? Like, remember something like when you used new technologies and you didn't use new technology, but you say that if I had to use new technology, I would go there, like to Google, I would take this course, that course, and I would just master this technology and implement it in my job. Something like that. Never say like, oh, I don't know. I haven't used it. I don't know. So it's not good. And don't lie. So this is a actually excellent way to say things in between, right?
Yeah, that 100% agree. The best way to go for an interview is not to lie, because the best way is to be honest, because if you are not honest, if you are lying, it's very easy to catch that, as Anna just said.
That's true. And it's obvious for those people who are interviewing you, they have experience, right? So tons of people, hundreds probably went through them before you came in. So it's better not to lie.
All right. So that was a good one. But I remember you said something during that breakfast about money.
Oh, yeah. That's another thing. In our mentality, like Ukrainian people, oftentimes, not always, but with some exceptions, of course, but we are very shy to talk about money. So we are very shy to ask for money raise in the company we're working for, to ask for promotion. And we tend to rather be on the lower side than on the higher side. And it is not right. And we also don't advertise ourselves, right? We are like humble, more humble. That's how we're raised. That's part of our culture. However, it doesn't exactly work like that here in the United States. And this is something to learn. And this is actually a skill, so you can learn to present yourself in the interview, to speak about yourself, they're interested in what you achieved, in what you did, in what you implemented. Not, so don't say something like, so I worked for a team and my team did this, I did this, I did that, I implemented this, I introduced this to the company, something like that. And about the money. So one of the very good videos, maybe you can share the link.
Right there.
Right. You told, it's actually, you can treat it as an instruction. So there is always a range for your skill set, right? For your experience, there is always a range, bottom part and upper part. And you told that it's always better to go with the upper part. Because worst case scenario, they will just like discount it a little bit. But if you ask lower part, nobody will, it's not likely that somebody will go higher.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter really if you will tell them that you want less money that they offer. If they don't like you, it doesn't matter how much you ask for.
Exactly. And the other thing that, like, my insight from people I was talking to and videos I was watching, so it kind of looks weird if you have a good skill set, years of experience, and you are asking for less. It's an iffy situation, and I think that something is wrong with this person. Why does she or he goes so low? So probably he's not that professional. So don't go super high, but be reasonably high.
Yeah.
So just, I don't know, just like think about the reasonable range and stick to the upper level.
Yep.
That's just it. And then it's negotiable. So they start bargaining with you. And this is another skill that I didn't possess. So I had to like, oh my God, like, oh, we don't really have this money, but let's try. And maybe we have bonuses. So that's a strategy. So before you go in the job market, just think about your level, right? Stick to the upper part and be confident. Don't like look like down or like, oh, I want this and I don't know, I'm not sure. Be confident, be calm, and don't stress. Just tell them how much you think you are worth. That's it.
Yep.
And if they really like you, they will find that money, believe me. Because they're normally they are flexible, right? They don't tell you, they give the fork. And if you see, most of the positions have ridiculous forks. Like my position had a fork from something I don't exactly remember, it was 64 or 84 to 146.
Whoa.
So it's like for the same position.
Yeah, that's a range. That's
It's
a range.
quite a range. Yeah. So you can tell that they are trying, their aim is to make it low as possible and your quality to be as high as possible, right? And your aim is to get as much as possible,
The
obviously.
other way
So,
around.
yeah. So you have to meet somewhere in the middle, and it's better for you if you meet somewhere like on the upper level.
Exactly.
So, and nobody will do this job for you. So you have to bargain and you have to talk to them about it.
Yes, and I will add my own story. Back in 2015, something like that, when I was getting my job, one of my jobs, I remember I've been working for that small company. I enjoyed it a lot. And the bigger company reached out to me. They were like, "Hey, do you want to come for an interview? We like your profile. You seem to be a good fit for a new position, for another position we are trying to cover here." I was like, "Well, let me go through an interview. Since they're offering me, let me just give it a shot." And I did. I did give it a shot. I gave it a shot, and then I actually got a job offer. And
Right.
I did not. It was the first time in my life when someone would reach out to me and offer me a job.
So you were not actually in
I
the
was not
market.
looking for a job. Yeah, I was not in the market
Oh.
at all. And they reached out to me, and by that time I was making $80,000 per year back in 2015, 16. It was one of my first jobs, and when they asked me, "Hey, how much do you want?" I'm like, "Oh wow, well." Honestly, I don't want to leave my company, so I'm going to ask them for much more than I'm making now. And I told them, well, I'm making 95 now, so I would like to get at least $100,000.
Still bluffing is
Yeah,
a
it
strategy
helps.
as
It
well.
helps. I mean, about these things, I'm not, I don't consider it lying. I consider it just negotiating a
It's
salary.
a strategy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I told them, I'm making 95 now and I would like to get 100. They're
Fake
like,
it till you make it.
yeah. And honestly, I said it that way because I did not want to get the job. I wanted to give them as high rent. I wanted to ask them for as much money as they will not be able to give me, so I could stick to my comfortable position and I would never leave it.
And don't feel bad about like
Exactly.
not
Leaving good
getting-
people. Because
right.
I was working with awesome team. I did not want to leave
You
them.
need a reason to stay, right? So-
Exactly. So I told them 100K. They're like, sure, easy. I was like, what the hell is going on? $100,000? Am I worth it? And well, they gave me 100K and they told me to think about it. And I was like, okay. So I went to my manager. I was like, dude, you know what? I was not planning to leave, but the company reached out to me and they gave me 100K and I don't know what to do now. And the guy was like, hold on. Do not accept that offer.
Yeah.
Give me an hour. So he comes back in an hour. He's like, okay, you've been working with us for a while. We like you a lot. You're a part of our tech family, of our company, of our startup. So we'd like to offer you a raise, pretty much a counter offer, as it usually happens. And they gave me $92,000 because we're a family, we would like to, it's a 12% raise or something like that. So we would like to get you more
It's
money.
a big raise, like within one company. It's
Exactly.
quite a
12%,
raise.
it's a lot.
It's very
That's
rare.
a lot.
that it-
The thing is, in the United States, you don't get 20% or more raise within the same company. But if you get another job offer, you can get that.
Yeah, you can get. I will tell my story later. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So they offered, so the guy offered me 92K. So what I was like, well, that's pretty much on the edge. I don't want to leave this company, but 100K sounds really good. You know what? I'm probably gonna stick to my company. So what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna tell the other company that my company gave me $105,000 so I could stay with them. And they were like, hold on a second, give me an hour. I'm going to call you back. They called me back in 1 hour and they said, okay, we cannot give you more, but we can match your offer. We can give you $105,000.
But we have technology, so they still try to advertise themselves.
Yeah, yeah. But as you said, you wanted to learn new technologies, you wanted to develop, you can grow a lot. We're a bigger company, we're a larger company. I was like, damn it. You know what? I guess I've just been sold.
Right.
And so I accepted that offer for $105,000. So the conclusion of this story is don't be shy. Ask for more than you think you're worth because in their opinion, you might worth more. You never know what is your actual value. And I think you're honestly priceless.
And in fact, I will share my story now. So I failed this part, in fact. So I was before I went in the market, I talked to some experts, again, from our Ukrainian community, some people, actually QA manager. I talked to a QA manager and I say, hey, I haven't been in the market for years now. I don't know the situation right now. Can I share with you my skill set and my experience so you can give me like approximate amount that I'm worth right now in this market? And he did. And when this HR person from this company asked me about my expectation, like compensation expectations, it works like so she asks you, and in that moment some pattern works in your mind and you don't do what you were instructed to, right? And I didn't tell the lower part, but I called, like I said the average, more or less, in this fork that I was having. And she's like, oh, it's a little bit too high. We don't have this money. But they were going with me from stage to stage of the interview. And I'm like thinking on the third stage, what I was passing, I'm like, okay, she knows I'm expecting this amount of money. And she still goes with me saying they don't have enough. She knows I will not take less.
Yeah.
So probably they do have it. And for some reason, they just, it's their strategy. So I will have my strategy. And then I was about to get another job offer. And my surprise was when she called me to share that they have great news for me. It's a job offer. And she said that we discussed it with the hiring manager, and basing on your skill set and experience, we decided that your compensation rate will be this, and it's more than I asked. It's like 10,000 more.
Whoa.
And I'm like, and then I'm thinking, what if I asked even more?
Exactly.
So I would probably get more. So, but that was my first time. So I didn't exactly super fail because I didn't go low, but I still went like average level. I should have gone.
You've succeeded. I can say you've succeeded.
Right. But this is something I'm sharing with you guys because just don't be like me. Go a little higher. Yeah, worst case scenario, if they love you and they see that they don't match their budget with your level, they will try and negotiate with you. You can always go lower. Right?
Exactly.
So once you start negotiating, you can always go lower. And the thing that you mentioned, within one company, it's very hard to get a dramatic raise. But when you change companies, like in my case, I have basically the same position. So my position and my job description is basically the same. But I got, I don't know the exact number, but it's very close to 50% raise. It's over 40% raise.
40% raise.
Right. Over 40% raise, in fact. So that's what happens when you change the companies, when you go out in the market. And that's why I decided it's a smart strategy. Don't like stick to your comfort zone and like go out of this world. I'm comfortable with my job. I don't do anything. I was like that. Now I'm not, because just keep your eyes open, keep your LinkedIn profile updated, and just look at those positions. You never know, something can show up, and you might so don't miss out on opportunities.
Exactly.
It's not smart.
Yep. I like this conversation a lot. We're talking about money. Everyone's gonna enjoy that. Right. Awesome. So we talked about money. So you answered 2 questions. You actually have told us about 2 questions you've learned from my videos. Okay, perfect. Now let's talk about your experience.
Okay.
You recently been laid off, and then after watching those videos, after watching other people's videos, you found a job. Can you describe that process of being laid off? Yeah. And can you tell us, well, let's start with that one.
Yeah, it was it was a big surprise, in fact. So here in America, it's a little less humane than back in Ukraine, I would say. Yeah. It was my first experience of being laid off in my whole career. However, I heard from people in Ukraine that normally when they lay off, they give you a notice and you pass all your project to another person. So it's a process. It's time, right? So you can throw a party for your peers, right? Like to say bye and thank you. Not here. If you leave on your own, then you can do that. You leave a notice. But if they lay you off, it happens within 10 minutes or like 15 minutes. I had a meeting. They thanked me for my job, for my input. They mentioned that I'm being laid off not because of my low performance, but because the financial problems in the company. You never know if they're telling you the truth. You never know. They don't necessarily tell you how bad you are or like inappropriate for the company. They always tell you good things with a smile on their face, but you understand that it's bad. So I was insecure. I was like, oh my God, did I do? But I just finished a successful project and it was a success.
Yeah.
We just had a meeting. I got a raise. It was like tiny, but it still was a raise.
Yeah.
And my team lead set new goals for me. Nothing was, so I didn't feel it coming. I didn't see it coming because everything was good. So if I failed, if I made some mistake, I would think, oh my God. But no, everything was so good. So, and the big boss, when he told me that, he says, okay, so your account will be shut off as of now. This is HR girl. She will tell you what to do. I'm like, so can I tell bye to the team? No, I need to go. So he's done. He's gone. And she told me about the severance package and all the stuff. And when I hang up with her, I tried to message in Slack for my team, like bye or something. Doesn't work. My email doesn't work, so I can't say bye. And I'm sitting there shocked. And then pop up from LinkedIn shows up on my phone, and I see that my head of development makes a post where he says that unfortunately today I was laid off together with my whole team, and he mentions all of us. So out of 10 people, only 2 were left and 8 were gone, and they're very good professionals. So I made a little better. I felt a lot better because I realized that they were they were what they were saying about the reason of this was true. So it's not due to the performance, it's due to something that was going on in the company. So they merged 2 or 3 teams in one team, and they laid off the people. So, and then I'm like, okay, so it's nothing wrong with me or with them. It's just the process. So it seemed a little inhumane. And later I advised HR, here American HR, and I say, hey, can you help me? Can you just tell me if it's a normal practice? Because I'll be getting new jobs. I want to know if it's normal. She says it's absolutely normal. And many companies don't even do this shout out like, oh, thank you for being a great member of the team and stuff. They would just like shut you off. You come to the office and you can't use your car. Yep. So unfortunately, she said, I don't like it. It doesn't sound and look professional or good or respectful, but it is the way it is. So we just accept the rules. And this is a part of at-will job agreement.
Yep.
And if I got it right, most of job agreements are at will, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So at will means that you, whether it's you or the employer, you can stop the employment, stop your job agreement at any point without any reason. So you can leave the company at any point if you want, but they can do the same to you. Kind of fair, but can be extreme.
Yeah,
So,
I like it a lot actually that you can leave, and it's just like in a relationship. that
right.
You can leave anything. If you're not happy, either side can leave.
Yeah, and you have to, a lot of people, I don't think it's like, maybe now it's not so relevant, but a lot of people back in Ukraine, because the situation on the job market, like it's very hard to get a good job, and you stick to your good job, and you love your good job, you stick to people, you don't want to leave the company. Here it's a little different, just don't do that.
It's a business.
It's business, it's about money. So if the company doesn't want you, it's not because you are bad. It's because maybe you're too expensive for them.
Yep.
Maybe you invested your whatever you could professionally, to their team, and then they figure that somebody can do the same job, but they are worth less. So it's business.
Yeah.
And they are getting this money. So, and you go to a different company, it's normal. So it's kind of like a little bit different type of mentality.
So true. So true.
Right.
All right. Now, do you want to tell us? So you got laid off. How long did it take you to find the next job, and how did you look for it?
So I got laid off, and it was in the middle of summer, and I was told by good people that, oh, it's impossible. Probably you have to wait till fall. It's the worst time to look for the job. I mean, you can
Summer?
apply. Yep.
It's the best time to look for a
Yeah, I
job.
was told it's the worst. August is like a dead season. Everybody's on vacation. Everybody's in Hawaii, sunbathing, not thinking about new positions. However, maybe partly it's true, maybe. But I know that regardless of the season, the situation on the market is not like super perfect right now because of like several factors. In fact, one of them is that a lot of bigger companies like Disney, like Facebook, laid off a lot of highly qualified people. So it's a lot of competition in the market, a lot of applicants. You can see like in LinkedIn, like literally thousands of people applied for the job. You don't know how far they went, but they at least applied, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, I will be like 1,867th applicant for this position.
Exactly.
But don't think about that because some of those people just clicked and didn't go any further, right? And it counts clicks,
Most.
right? Or no?
I'm not sure. They'll question to LinkedIn developers.
Yeah.
If you guys have a connections to them, please ask them what logic did they apply. Does it count when you just clicked it, actually did not apply for it, or did you actually have to apply for it in order for the count to increase by 1?
Yeah, that's true. So going back to the situation on the market. So I applied the strategy of like aggressive applying. What does it mean? So you apply to everything that relatively fits your qualifications. So even if it's not a job of your dream, even if it's a little on the higher level, a little on the lower level, you just keep applying like crazy, literally, because the conversion is what's important. So if you apply to 1,000 positions, you will get like 50 feedbacks. Let's say I'm just like imagining, right? And if you apply to 500, you will get 10. So it's better to get 50, and I was very disappointed, but I was ready for that because I was going to a lot of meetups, professional meetups, and I was already aware that right now the process is a little different from what I used to know back in the day. So right now it takes them longer to get back to you, and they take more time for the whole interview procedure.
Yeah.
So everything is much longer. So I was ready for that, but it's a little disappointing. Like when you apply, and nobody even calls you. Like a week passed by and you are applying like 50 positions a day and it's 0 calls. And you're like, oh my God. And my severance package covers 2 months.
Yep.
And you're like...
Vlad, think about that. You're applying for weeks, you're getting no calls back.
Right.
They will give you a call, just wait.
Right. And again, if not for those meetups, I would panic, literally, because that's not what I remember. I remember I was bombarded by calls. I don't want to speak about the quality of those contacts. Most, like 90% of them were scamming, basically. But still, there was a feedback. And now, 0 feedback. And you're like, oh my God. But I was ready. I knew it goes slow. And then after the first week, I started getting feedbacks slowly. And this company, in fact, was one of the first. And they, if I'm not mistaken, they called me back 3 days after I sent my application.
Whoa, that's quick.
And they started very quick. But I didn't, I was tracing back to me applying specifically for this position. So I applied for this position. They got back to me 3 or 4 days, something less than a week. And the HR liked me a lot. And it was an HR from the company, not third party. And then she goes, all right, let's move you to the technical interview. I'm like, oh my God, technical? Like the first stage technical? I was not told it will be technical. In my meetups, I was told it will be behavioral, but that's how it goes. It differs from company to company. So I passed the technical interview. Then I had 2 more behavioral interviews. One of them was kind of behavioral, but in fact, it was technical without just live coding. It was an interview with hiring manager, and he went into deepest detail of how it worked with my previous company, the processes, the languages, everything.
Do you remember those questions?
Part of them, he was, so they have like a gray field in accessibility, and they were very excited that I automated accessibility test cases. And in my company, in the previous company, it was a very, very big part of our job, accessibility. And then he asked about the procedures, like in what language did you write your use cases, your team? So, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Very specific.
Yeah, quick question about accessibility. How do you automate accessibility testing?
We automated, we used Puppeteer on JavaScript framework, and just the same way as you automate everything. It's like basically keyboard navigation, right? So accessibility testing is you can press tab and the focus moves to where you need it to move, right? You can press escape and you go out of this iframe, something like that. And you just automate this step-by-step use case, just like you do for everything else. And you automate, you verify if the accessibility tags like area labels and other stuff is in there. Sometimes they are needed.
Got it.
So
that sounds fairly easy. So you pretty much
it's not difficult.
Tab, verify, focus. Tab,
yeah,
verify,
this is a
focus,
keyboard
tab,
navigation.
Verify,
Yeah, key navigation. It's like a space bar, tab, arrow. Moving arrows, like you're moving focus from thing to thing, and accessibility tags in the HTML.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
I never knew how it's done. I was like, well, one day I will learn. Maybe it's difficult.
And there is a manual part to it, but we almost never did that. So I was working on Mac, so I did voiceover.
Nice.
So basically when you use application and you have this voiceover on, so you hear, and of course you are verifying that the voiceover guides you correctly through each and every step when you're using application. So you got this good prompts. Just that. So they were excited about that. Then he asked very specific questions about the procedures in the team who you were reporting to. Like if you had some challenge, how you were cooperating with your developers. Was it like a direct messaging or a calling, or did you have to make appointments or like whatever? Then he asked about this funny question a lot of people ask. If your developers were coding in the same language as you, I say no. I mean, part of them, yes, but part of them, no. And because I was working with back-end and front-end developers, of course, they were using different language.
Yeah.
So then he asked about the framework.
Can I stop you for a second?
Yep.
Can you elaborate on if we need to use same language for the development and a QA team?
No, not necessarily. I mean, unless your team is very specific about it, but you are independent. You work independently. This, this story, when they tell you stories about how developers will be helping you out with your coding, it's not exactly true, and you cannot assume they will. You cannot even expect they will. They're not supposed to. You are not helping the janitor in your office, or you're not helping, your product managers, right? You are doing your job, they are doing their job. You are completely independent. Doesn't matter in what language your testing framework. It's nice to be in the same language with your QA peers because you can help each other out. That's a fact, right? So it's nice to use the same language and the same framework, but not with your developers. It's not necessary at all.
I fully agree with that. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below, because I do know that some people think you should use the same language, as she said, that devs will be helping you out, or maybe even you will be helping your devs, as some people do. But I don't think that's the case, and I never told anyone that they should use same language.
Maybe it's for stats. They are more involved, right? Maybe that's maybe it works for stats, but for QA automation people.
And
not in my experience.
Yeah, and usually if you're as that, you would, it depends. I see it would be more convenient for you to know only one. For example, if you learn Jazz, you could do both on the back end and the front end, and you could also do test automation. But in most cases, they don't have the same language, and if they will, I guess it would be comfortable.
Yep. So it's not necessary, and most of the companies, most of hiring managers, they realize it.
Yeah,
so
makes sense. All right, and the next, so you walked us through some of the interview questions. Were there any other interesting interview questions? Because people who are watching our videos are going to be mostly interested about the interview that you went through, and about the questions that you got, and how did you answer them so that they could get a job offer in a way that you got a job offer.
Right. So My biggest fear, and I would call it fear, was technical interview because, again, the procedure is very different right now from what it used to be. Back in the day, I got my previous job at the beginning of lockdown, and it was a whiteboard test. So they ask you a couple selectors, you put them on whiteboard, something easy, not even the functions or anything, just like easy stuff. And a couple like verbal, we just like discussed something. Right now it's live coding. So basically you open your IDE and you are coding while the interviewer is basically watching you doing that. And I was extremely uncomfortable with that. So I don't like people watching me. I'm like, oh my God, if I need to like, I put something and it's not smart, I need to remove it. And I don't want him to see that I made a mistake or I didn't. I don't want him to see that. But again, it's the rule you have to accept. This is how it works. And to be honest, those interviewers, at least in my experience, they are not like those monsters that want to destroy you and point out how you are like
how bad you are at coding.
Yeah, at doing what you are doing. No, they in fact want to help you, and I will share right now my wonderful experience. So during this live coding session, most of the questions, the challenges are about arrays, all the operations with arrays and functions. So you are basically writing simple functions, and they don't expect you to know your language on the development level. You are not a developer. Otherwise, you would be a developer, right? So it's a lower level of knowing the language, and respectively, the challenges are lower level. So they're not super difficult. They are like beginner to intermediate, not higher. So they are very feasible to resolve. And it was like 30 minutes for these technical questions. I resolved 2 of them. He liked it. And then the third one was a little challenging. And he says, oh, we don't have a lot of time, but maybe you can show me your logic. And they like it when you are doing it and kind of you are talking. You say, okay, I would do this and that. I would try this and that. And then I see it doesn't work out, and I see that I already go very complex. I already have 6 lines of code, and I realize that the solution should be very simple, and I'm missing it, and I'm stressed because the time is running out. And then he goes, okay, let me help you out. I'm like, okay. He says, have you heard about this function? I don't remember what was the function already. I say, no, I don't know this function. I say, but I know what I do if I don't know something. He says, so what do you do? And I say, I decided to be very, very, very flexible and very, very considerate about ChatGPT, because I know a lot of companies don't use it for security reasons. I say, okay, if it's for my studies, I do ChatGPT. But if it's for my professional stuff, I use Google. He says, yeah, we don't use ChatGPT. I'm like, yay. We cannot, like they have a lot of regulations. But go ahead, use Google. I say, can I? Like in the interview, he says, yeah, go ahead. So I go on Google, I type in this function, I go on Stack Overflow, I guess. I pick this function and I adjust it, I put it into my solution, and I'm like, boom, 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 it's done. So, and he was happy, so I passed. So basically what they want to do, they are not like those evil professors in your university, right? Like, having something bad on their mind. They want to see how you actually will perform when you work. So there will be a lot of stuff you don't know, and you don't have to know everything. They want to see what you do when you don't know, how you fix the problem, right? So you go on internet, you find it. And it was important for him to see that I picked that function and I put it in my solution and it worked. That's all he needed to know. And so don't be shy to know, that to tell them that, well, I don't know this technology or this function or anything, but I know what to do, right? So I know where to get this information, and I know how to learn it and implement it. So that's what they want to know, in fact.
Yeah, that makes sense. As the QA manager and engineering manager in the past, that's the main thing. I wanted to see how people, number one, how do they think? Number two, how do they talk and communicate?
Exactly. And there is one more tip. So sometimes, even with developers, I heard it during the meetups, So if you don't exactly know how to write this code, you can at least, it's better than to say, no, I don't know. It's better to give them your logic. So you would say that, okay, I would do this. I would put this into a variable. I would use probably this function, and this function, it will lead me to this, and then I will have this. So at least they see your logic, and it works a lot of times. Even if you don't know right now, or if you don't have time right now to put it into actual code, just do this fake code. I don't know, like show them. Yep. Yep.
Exactly. That makes sense. And by the way, I've just remembered that one of our YouTube watchers have recently commented below the video that he also watched a lot of my videos and he got a job and he was very thankful to me.
Yeah, right.
He wanted to stay low key. He's from Los Angeles, but he did not want to come on a video, but he was just thankful in the comments.
Maybe one day he will come and
hopefully,
share his
please
experience.
come over. I'm here in northern part of Santa Monica, Sotel. I'm going to record you in this studio.
Right.
All right, let's keep going. So thank you. You've shared a lot of good points from the interview, a lot of things that people could find useful. Now, let me ask you a couple more questions before I let you go. Question number 1. How happy are you with your current salary?
I am very happy. I increased my salary for over 40%. Of course, I'm happy.
Awesome. Anything you would think you want to change? Hold on, let me rephrase it.
Yes.
Anything you would change if you would start your QA path again?
Yes, I would not work with Selenium, but when I started, we didn't have Playwright. I loved Playwright framework, and this is something that I would change about my current job, because they work on Selenium. I kind of had to downgrade back, and but it is what it is. So
yeah.
And I tried, actually, in fact, I tried to talk to my team lead, and I say, so have you tried Playwright? What do you think about Playwright? And he goes like, I didn't like it. I didn't like how they handle things and stuff, but I think he didn't really try it enough. I mean, deeply enough. Because, and right now it's so annoying. It's slow. And I'm running like a little test, and I'm like,
which one are you talking about?
Selenium.
Selenium.
Slow.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, I was using Puppeteer. Puppeteer was even quicker. And
it's a grandpa of Playwright.
Right. So, and it's so slow, and I'm like, okay, I just have to get used to it. So.
Yeah.
But I'm hopeful one day we'll move forward
to
a better framework.
Yeah. 2 things about Playwright. Number 1, I remember that Andrei Lushnikov is the guy. I think he was either a founder of, creator of Puppeteer, or he was one of the co-creators in Google. But then Microsoft pretty much bought him. I saw he changed his position to Microsoft, and then I hear a lot more about Puppeteer. I'm like, about Playwright, and I'm like, Playwright is pretty much a what would you call that?
Like an upgraded version, right?
Not a drug, but what do you call the thing that the bodybuilders put in their muscles to get the steroids?
Steroids, yep.
So Playwright is a Puppeteer on steroids.
Right. And that was so convenient. It has so many things in it already. You don't have to use any external libraries. So convenient. So I'm hopeful. I will talk to my manager, team lead again about it later.
Yeah.
I just tried right now. He's not very cooperative, but okay, no problem.
Sooner or later we will. Right. And by the way, second thing about a Playwright, you guys can check out the video, link to which I'm going to leave right here and also right below this video or podcast. And I wanted to share that because Playwright is almost, in some cases or in most cases, is twice faster than Cypress, which is also one of the fastest frameworks in the world. It is very fast. And the thing is, but one drawback, there are not a lot of jobs with the Playwright right now.
Exactly.
A lot of companies are switching to Playwright, but not a lot of them have moved on to it already and looking for new QA engineers. A couple of days ago, I've looked at the LinkedIn, and I've searched for Playwright JavaScript, and guess how many jobs
2?
I found? 7.
7, okay.
And then
I found 2.
Nice.
A couple months ago.
Yeah. Well, it's getting better. You can see it's 100, 200,
But it's
300,
comparatively
400,
new, right?
500.
So the reason for that is that this framework is comparatively new. So people are just like looking into it and
Yeah.
starting switching. So
Yeah, exactly.
wait and see, like in a year from now.
Yeah. And the Cypress, which we are teaching at Codemify, which we are forced to teach at the Codemify because I've done the same search in Cypress. Cypress JavaScript, I found 1,177 jobs on the market on LinkedIn. So Cypress is much more popular. You can check out the NPM trends page. You will see this. The Playwright is growing faster than Cypress, but Cypress is already far away from the Playwright.
Probably Playwright will overplay it with time, right? Not yet, right?
It sounds very interesting. Playwright will overplay it.
Yeah, that's why it's called like that.
Nice. Okay, and I'm gonna ask you the last question.
Okay.
What do you think was before the last question, what do you think was the most useful skill that helped you to get the job so quickly after you've been laid off?
I think it's an approach of aggressive applying, number one, because I was in touch with my team who were laid off with me, and they're Americans. They're a little slower than us, so they were not as successful and not as quickly as me.
Let me just correct it quickly. So when she said America's a little slower than us, she did not mean to say that America's slower than...
No, not mentally. I mean, they act slower. So they take their time to make decisions. They apply for perfectly or close to perfectly tailored jobs, which is probably the right...
Which is the best way.
The best way, but it's longer. So if you can afford... look for a job like for half a year, for a year, that's the perfect way because you're not stressed, right? So you apply slowly, you wait for the right opportunity, you don't grab the first thing that's coming your way. But in my situation, and I know a lot of Ukrainians do that, you apply aggressively, you want this fast conversion, you want to see what's there. It doesn't mean you grab the first thing you have, right? But you have something going on, you have some activity. And I think that this approach helped a lot. And then videos again. You just guys watch videos over and over and over again. So don't underestimate behavioral part. So even if you are automation, watch the videos for manual QAs because it's pretty much the same in terms of behavioral, in regards to behavioral part. Questions are the same. And some of them are tricky. So don't underestimate it. Know how to answer those questions correctly because they never ask something for no reason, right? Even if the question seems like silly to you, it's asked for a reason. And you have to give them a profound answer that will make them happy, right? And another thing is that it's not only them interviewing you, you know that, right? You are interviewing them as well. So it's not like you are happy, like anybody, please take me, please employ me. No. They have to fit you as well. If you see that they are not a good fit for you, for your personality, for something, you don't like it, you just move on. You don't stick to them. So just be relaxed, don't stress, and don't put this serious face. I know that's my problem. We are serious people, we take it seriously, and we have the serious faces. They like it a little bit more like make conversation, just be relaxed and
chill.
Talk to the point. Don't tell them your whole biography from the point when you were born. When they ask you to tell about yourself, they mean your professional background, and they mean the most recent, like with the highlight to most recent one, right? Don't start when you were born, when you were to elementary school. Nobody's interested in that. Some people do, by the way. Some people start that. So just be relaxed, and that's probably it, I guess. And don't underestimate behavioral versus technical. So
behavioral question will probably be the biggest part of all of your interviews, right? Regardless of which position you go for.
Exactly. It's only one technical, and it's in my case it was 4 stages of interview. It's only 1 technical and 3 behavioral. One of them was kind of with this technical vibe, but it was still behavioral. So, it's important.
That makes sense. All right, and the last question: what do you think differentiated you from 800 or 1,000 people that were applying for the same position?
Well, I will tell you what I think from my perspective. On each and every stage of this interview, they were happy, so happy when they figured that I was like an adequate person. So that made me think that probably most of the applicants are inadequate, professionally or
Yeah.
as personalities. I don't know on what level, but they were so happy when they were like on the same page with you, when
Yeah.
they figured that you are kind of like know what you are talking about and you are a nice person. And it made them so happy. So I'm thinking like, oh my God, this HR probably have seen so many people who were like,
Interesting.
like, yeah, you have to think about it this way. When you see like 2,000 people applied for this job and like, oh my God, I'm just one of 2,000. HR sees it differently. HR sees it like, oh my God, 2,000 people, and only probably 5 of those people are qualified. And I have to get through all these thousands to find those 5 people. So don't be afraid of those numbers. Just still apply if you like the job. And there's a big chance they will get back to you.
Exactly.
And be professional.
Exactly. And honestly, those thousands of people that you see on LinkedIn applying for a job, lately, the amount of boot camps have increased significantly in the United States and all over the world. They're making a lot of money. They're putting advertisements all over the place. So you would sign up for the course, you would pay them the money, and then I'm not sure if you will be qualified, but you will try to apply for jobs. And those 2,000, out of those 2,000 people, I'm pretty sure that 1,900 are those graduates who never had a job, who don't have experience, and who cannot even talk about themselves in a very organized way. So don't be afraid. Make sure that you have experience, you have skills, and you can talk, you can communicate. If you got 3 of those, you are set. Just make sure to apply for a lot of jobs, and even maybe to message recruiter and ask them some legit questions about a job or about the company. Or you could potentially show them what you can do before you apply for a job. That's what I teach my students in a school.
Yeah, I agree.
And on this good note, I want to say thank you so much, Anna, for joining us, for sharing your story. And hopefully we'll catch up with you maybe in a couple of months or a year where you're going to get your lead or manager's position.
Wow.
Let's go. Have a good one. 3 conclusions out of this video. Number 1, don't be shy. Number 2, get some workout. And if you're in Los Angeles, every Saturday, 7 a.m. in Santa Monica, parking lot number 5, I'll be there. You will see green area with about 40 to 50 people. A lot of them are actually working in IT. Anyways, and number 3, and the most important one, it is an energy exchange. I'm here, guys, sharing my knowledge with you, sharing the different stories, and I'm hoping to get some energy back. You can do that in different forms. Form number 1 is the thumb up button. Hit that big fat thumb up button right below this video. Number 2, you can subscribe to my channel. Number 3, you can leave comments right below this video and say, what you have learned so far. It is going to help me quite a lot. And I hope this video did help you quite a lot as well. You have a good one, and I'll see you next time.